Hey there, good afternoon. The sun's coming out, and I think I had a big ship right above my head a little while ago. Anyway, thank you for clearing the smoke and everything. This is sort of perspectives part two because I ran out of memory on my phone about cyborgs, programmers, carnival barkers, all that kind of stuff, right? So. Computers are tools. We don't let the machines control us. We came before the machine. We cannot create anything we create. All we got to do is go back in time, right? Okay. So one of the things that I realized when I was a child, especially when I was perusing through all my father's engineering manuals, and we're using the exponential function on a timeline, or if you will, mathematically or exponentially increasing the speed of learning and acquisition of data. So if I can acquire data from the future and use it now, and I'm a demon, then imagine what they can put together. Okay? So when you realize that as a child, you sort of realize that there is a difference between spirit that is in the light and what love is. It's pure, which is like running a pure vortex, running a pure heart, because that's what it is. And those that are demons that use the acquisition of their data, which is the acquisition of knowledge. And look what they build. It's all underground. Look what they do with all their energy, their consciousness. Okay? So they're going to represent a threat because they live in fear of what love is, because they are not what love is. They don't spin that kind of data, or if you will, or knowledge, or imagination to share it with everybody so that everybody benefits. Right? So the cosmos itself can live in peace, live in love and harmony. Love is just a frequency. But I've certainly experienced far, far, far higher waves of energy than that. So I thought of, in one sense, when they throw us cell phones, those are great babysitters. They're great distractors. Now, on the one hand, it's a great tool. Allows us to sort of shortcut everything. I can sit on my butt and communicate to everybody just using a phone, right? Personally, I happen to prefer to be in nature, so I can be with everything that's in spirit, that's out there, right? So cell phones are great babysitters because it prevents, how do I put this? When you're merging yourself with technology and not experiencing what it's like to be in nature, to experience what it means to be a living spirit with other living spirit in nature, it's easy for those beings that do that, particularly if you're a child, that bifurcates both sides of the intelligence and the creative side of who we are. It's all powered up by the vortex of how much love and light we're running to spin everything that we're experiencing, which is data, knowledge, experiences. Or we can use it as a tool. Okay? But as Patty Purcell will tell you, we never needed technology. Okay? They use it, meaning demons, for far different reasons than what we use technology for. So then I thought about materialized and dematerialized. A holographic movie that we're all in, because that's exactly what it is. So I thought, well, given that everything is changing, all these YouTube videos, all these people coming out and saying, this is what I know, I'm interviewing so-and-so, I'm interviewing so-and-so, I'm interviewing so-and-so, all of it is based on information. And how we sort and filter that information is going to have meaning to us and value to us. So we're filtering the content of what has meaning. So everything that I experience that is coming from somebody else is naturally going to get filtered through my heart. What's the spin ratio? What's the speed ratio between the information they represent and they're presenting to me and the information that I've run that's valuable to me? So now we have a difference in speed between what they are and what I am based on the data they run that they're sharing with me. All that data is in the light and it's spinning like crazy in a vortex. So I realized at this period of time, because I know these things, and one of the great things about Project Ascension was the fact that Patty brought out in all those videos a ton of information. And particularly now when I think about because energy is speeding up, not time is speeding up. The energy is speeding up, which means the consciousness of what we're aware of is going to be a lot larger, which means that the waves are going up because we're experiencing higher energy, higher frequency energy, which means we're dissolving lower consciousness. Because they're aware of a lot less than we are because they don't run the same waveform speed that we do. Right? Okay. So when you think of humanity as being one mass, 7.5 billion batteries, or 7.5 billion units of consciousness, not everybody was cut from the same cloth. Okay, that's obvious. When I was a child, I pretty much looked at it as if different students are on different grade levels. Okay? Based on the frequency or the speed at which they're experiencing who they are. And then, of course, we experience that energy just like they experience my energy. Okay? So the differences between those energies are essentially the evolution of what you've learned throughout the course of all your experiences. And throughout the course of all those experiences, we value tag them and we realize that there are some experiences we don't want to experience because they're not pleasant. So you begin to realize that I don't want to keep that, delete that, uninstall that. That's not a part of what I want to keep in memory. I want to keep everything in memory that meant the most to me based on the tag that I gave it, based on the value of the energy I experienced. So when you come in here as a child, like for me, that experience was always based on what love is, which is a frequency, which is the speed of the waveform. So when you filter content based on the speed of the vibration in which you're experiencing who you are, then you're measuring everything else about that which communicates with you. So if somebody's communicating something that is less than what love is, they're running a lower vibration than you are. That's how you filter the difference between who you are and who they are. They haven't gotten up to that speed. They're not living in eternity. Because love is a timeless state. There's no past, there's no future. There's only right now. Now you're living in eternal light, which is eternal energy. That's what you are in living spirit. So what's happening right now is called a separation of the herd. Because you're in a classroom. You're given 26,000 years, life cycle after life cycle after life cycle, to learn everything that you need to learn, okay, in which you can become a core vibration frequency in which wherever you go, you're experiencing what you are and what love is. That allows you to graduate. And the reason that you graduate and go to a higher density is because you now become an energy giver. You're not feeding off anybody else's energy anymore. You're self-sustaining. You are your own powerful vortex. When you become your own powerful vortex, you're graduated. Passed. You realize that vortexes, the more data you're spinning through that vortex, the speed of that waveform that bends on the end of the event horizon, okay, you get it. And that's why I cried buckets of tears for days, because you can teach a child how to do this in 30 minutes. So when we talk about the separation of the herd, we're talking about a separation between graduates and undergraduates. I heard Patty say, I think a while back, going to other classrooms. What are we going to do with all these beings that can't get their frequency up because they're holding on to too much density, which is too much baggage, a lot of which had to do with trauma. So that's why I kept thinking to myself, raise the energy. Clear all the electrical resistance of everybody that's holding all this junk from programming and trauma that they're holding in memory. Burn it off. Yeah. Get it up, get it up, get it up. So when I put into that hopper the fact that I realized that, you know, and I don't have time to go into all this because it was something that I did when I was on a beach, when I communicated with Gaia, and I communicated with some other big brothers and sisters, powerful in spirit. You know, when you think of it through the teacher and the student perspective of how many students we lost, okay, I did a quantification. I sort of went through and measured and calculated across time vectors, if you will, the difference between losing and gaining. You know, casualties as a result of Star Wars. Electrical wars, energy harvesting. That's what it is. So the separation of the herd. But it's not a herd. It's not like one herd of cattle. It's a zoo made up of beings from all over the place. I knew we had androids and cyborgs here when I was in 9th grade. And when you get into all the technology of mind control, okay, it's like, why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you doing that to yourself? Why am I doing this to myself? It's like a self-termination program. Instead of gaining more light, you're losing more light. No, we want to go faster. So you realize that you're in an energy field that is feeding on your energy everywhere that you go, particularly when you're in a city. So you're looking for places to navigate through, like a Star Trek navigator. You're trying to find those places where the energy is higher. Okay, the kind of energy that you're used to experiencing that's in waveform alignment with who you are, which is an evolution of your frequency. By the value tagging and those things that you burn off because you do not want to experience those things. So you know who you are. That's your identity. I'll leave you with that.